Hello and welcome to the Downtown Midland Podcast, a monthly piece of content to know all things about Downtown Midland. This podcast is presented by the MCTV Network, a service of the City of Midland. To learn more about Downtown Midland, be sure to follow and like Downtown Midland social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe to this podcast on your preferred platform, and to get more details, go to downtownmidland.com. Hello and welcome to the Lowdown on Downtown. We are here at the Northwood University Idea Center, Timberwolf Studio. My name is Chris, and I'm here with Selina. How you doing, Selina?
I'm doing great, Chris. Good to see you.
Good to see you. It is September 19th of 2022.
How did it get to be September?
I don't know. The summer went by pretty fast.
It
Too fast.
Really flew by.
We got a couple of nice days coming up here. But.
Oh yeah. Fall is still a beautiful time.
But Michigan summer. So, hey, let's just kind of talk about what we're going to do for this podcast. We're going to talk to Julia Kepler from the Midland Downtown Business Association.
Correct. She's our MDBA president.
Yep.
And also owner of Joyful Tantrum and Serendipity Road.
Awesome. And then we're also going to talk to our favorite, Renee Smith, to talk about downtown events. But before we get to that, let's talk a little bit of the reimagination of the Riverfront.
Yeah. So, in addition to all the events and things that we do downtown, we always have lots of projects going on. And one of the projects on our 2022 Downtown Development Authority plan of work is to undertake a reimagining the riverfront area in downtown Midland. So the portion right in front of downtown Midland, basically what we've come to know as the farmers market area, the place where people go for tunes by the Tridge. It's time to kind of reimagine that space. So we kicked that process off earlier in the year. In June, we invited folks to come to 2 listening sessions and give us feedback and ideas on what they would like to see in that riverfront area. We had about 30 folks come to those in-person sessions, and then we followed that up with a community-wide survey through eCity Hall, a digital survey that got about 365 responses. So lots of really great input as to what people would like to see in that area. And what we're kind of focusing on and hearing most is folks really want to see that as not only a scheduled event venue space, but one that they can also come and do unscheduled leisure time and enjoy just being down in that riverfront area. Another idea we've heard over and over again is making that location more year-round. What can we do in the winter months down in that location as well? So we'll be looking at that as well. One of the big announcements that came late in August was from the Midland Business Alliance, who operates the farmers market in that space near the riverfront historically. They were displaced after 2020 flooding, and then as a result of COVID, they really found a nice home at the back parking lot of Dow Diamond. But they knew that wasn't going to be their permanent home. So they started taking a look kind of on a parallel path to our riverfront redevelopment process, looking at what they needed for a farmer's market facility. And unfortunately, one of the big hurdles in that space is it's in the floodway. Not just a floodplain, but a floodway, which puts a lot of restrictions on what you can do so far as building, electrical, any improvements that they really would like to see. The farmers market has just taken off in probably the past decade. The number of visitors to the farmers market as well as vendors is just, they've really outgrown that space. So they made the difficult decision to relocate their farmers market activity to someplace else. They will be at the Dow Diamond for the next 2 seasons after this, but hopefully at the end of that 2024 season, they will have picked a new home and will be able to build a facility that gives everybody the space it needs for parking and vendors and visitors alike. Yeah.
And you mentioned that community input session that we had. You can watch that on City of Midland's website, citymidlandmi.gov/MCTV, and go link to it from MGTV.
Correct. And all the information on the riverfront can be found at citymidlandmi.gov /riverfront.
/riverfront.
Yep.
Yeah, and you can also check everything on Downtown Midland at downtownmidland.com. So we want to make sure that you get all the information when you're listening to this podcast. And we appreciate you all listening. We're going to take a quick break and come back, and we will go into our next segment. So stick with us. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to the Lowdown on Downtown, and we are here with Julia Kepler. How you doing, Julia?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Julia's going to talk a little bit about downtown and the Midland Downtown Business Association, right?
Yeah, so Julia has been the fearless leader of our Midland Downtown Business Association for 3 years now?
Two.
Okay, going into your second term, right?
Yep, my second
Yep.
term. Yeah.
So if you're not aware, the Downtown Business Association is a little bit different from the Downtown Development Authority in that these are actually the business owners, the feet on the street every day, working on things that affect you, our visitors to Downtown Midland. So tell us a little bit about what it's like working with the MDBA and some of the projects that are going on now.
Working with MDBA is great because you get a bunch of different perspectives. Like, I'm a retail perspective, but you need restaurants and service organizations and nonprofits to make sure that we're bringing the best to downtown, what all the needs are. So we're not just like, oh, let's do all retail, events downtown.
Right. What are some of the things you're working on right now?
So right now we're working on digital signage is our big thing, and it was just decided that the DDA is doing a bathroom renovation project, or we're on the hunt for a location for bathrooms downtown, because it's one of the top things that all the retailers and service and restaurants said, public bathrooms on Main Street would be great, or somewhere near Main Street would be great. And so we're going to have digital signage added in with the DDA project.
Just to let folks know what's going on downtown. And
yeah, so the pedestrian plaza has been a hot topic, especially Music on Main. If you've come down for Music on Main, what a vibrancy it brings. I think, with the farmers market moving out of downtown, this is a thing that brings that same community connection and vibrancy into downtown that we didn't have before the Music on Main. And so I look forward to it. As a matter of fact, it's one of my favorite nights to work at the store. I don't really want to say that too much, but those are my favorite nights just because there are so many people, and it's for all ages. It's very inclusive, very, there are kids and babies and, older people and people with disabilities, and they just all come together downtown, and it's wonderful to see.
Yeah. Julia owns Joyful Tantrum in Serendipity Road, and you are right in the heart of the pedestrian plaza area. What's been your experience? You see it all times of the day, early morning, middle of the afternoon, late at night. What's your experience as a business owner with it?
I knew only because I am a retailer, and we are told that you do anything in your business to change it in a significant way, it takes 2 years to retrain your customers. So I knew the pedestrian plaza was going to take 2 years to catch on. It was really going to take time, and so I'm grateful for the DDA in the city for saying, okay, let's give this a go. And really, even though it felt like the first couple of years it wasn't worth it, you see now people are down here all day. Just they come, they bring their laptop, they're working, they come, they have a work. Recently I saw like 2 college students doing their homework, and then they would take a break and do cornhole, right? And so, and parents are coming down with their kids and playing in front of Joyful Tantrum, and it just gives them a place to be. So I think we created a great space.
Yeah. And what we're experiencing this year, as we go, was this 3rd year of Pedestrian Plaza, and we've been approved to have pedestrian plazas through 2025. We've really challenged the businesses to get more engaged in the pedestrian plaza. So as a result of that, we saw some really cool seating opportunities come to life this year. TriStar Trust Bank invested in a nice lounge area. Bo Brines over at Little Forks Outfitters, of course, did that really cool
the hammock
lounge, and you can go try out the hammocks, and even Imagine That did a little rocking chair space, which has been utilized quite a bit. And you added to your space this year too.
We did. We added an art station for kids, which they have loved. So, and it's coming down this week, which is a bummer, but like, all good things come to an end, right? So, but who else? Huntington Bank also added space, and then the DDA added spaces for people to sit. And we have foot pool. If you haven't come down and tried foot pool, you see people all day playing foot pool, not just adults are playing it too, and which is it's like soccer and pool together, which is great. But even the ping pong tables have been a great hit. Yeah. So
ping pong is so
I know,
popular.
and then being able to have yoga and pound come down as well, just having bringing things to downtown, and then the great relationship that we've been trying to build with the Midland Center for the Arts. So they've had Rent come down, High School Musical, just like sneak peeks of the things that are coming up. They've been performing on the stage, and they also brought like STEM projects downtown as well.
Nice.
As a business, what do you think Pedestrian Plaza does for you?
That's a good question.
We'll start with coming out of the pandemic. Restaurants, and I share customers with all restaurants, and so when coming out of the pandemic, and they could only seat 25% in their space, being able to serve out, and even having a larger space out for the summer, those first years was huge, because we share customers with restaurants. Restaurants don't share customers with each other in a night, but they do share them with retailers. And so that was a huge blessing for our sales after being closed for 3 months. But now it's just, we had SVSU students come on Saturday. They don't normally come to Midland. They live at the dorms at SVSU, but they heard there was music, so they came, and they're like, we're going to need to come more often. We're going to tell our friends, right? So having it to be a place to be, the marketing of your store, you can't pay for it.
Right.
When you have 500 people outside of your store.
And if nothing more, it's good exposure.
Yeah, it's just about exposure. It's not that 500 people come into your store. It's about the marketing exposure from the outside. Like, oh, even if we were closed, they could be like, oh, we need to come back, right? So that's exposure is the biggest thing.
Well, Julia, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
joining us.
You're welcome.
We're going to bring on Renee Smith to talk a little bit about that music events that happen downtown. She's going to be on to talk about more events that are happening downtown, and will happen throughout the rest of this year. So stick with us, and we'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to the Lowdown on Downtown. I'm Chris. This is Selina and Renee. How you doing, Renee?
Good. How are you guys?
Pretty good. We're going to recap a little bit about the Pedestrian Plaza. So tell us a little bit the review over there.
Yeah, it's always sad when summer comes to an end, but we did have another this was our third year of Pedestrian Plazas. They kicked off in June, but here the first full week of October, October 3rd, we will be transitioning out of Pedestrian Plazas. Everything will be packed up, and probably by the end of that week, the roadways will be restored and parking will return to Main Street. But it really was a great summer. We got a multi-year approval for Pedestrian Plaza, which allowed us to make a great deal more investment into what we offer through Pedestrian Plaza. So as we talked about with Julia, we added a lot of new furnishings, a lot of places for people to sit out and enjoy spending their time outdoors in downtown Midland. We added a lot of new activities with the foot pool game and the ping pong tables and just anything that folks can do on their leisure time when they come downtown to visit. We also did more to try to make the accessibility of the pedestrian plazas available to everyone. We added drop-off zones at either end of Main Street in the barricaded areas so that folks could drop off anyone who has trouble walking terribly far and from a parking space. So they could drop off a loved one near the end of the pedestrian plazas. And then we also made the corner of McDonald and Larkin Street fully accessible. So all those spaces were transitioned to be accessible parking spaces, as well as added several others throughout throughout the district. And then finally, we added the stage this year. That was new for the pedestrian plaza. So we put a stage for all our entertainers. We had 35 nights of music this year. A few of them got rained out, but lots of great bands, including several that came from all across the state. Cover bands, we added a number of those this year as well. So also an interesting statistic I added up. We have printed 38,000 stickers for the Commons.
Whoa.
So these are the stickers that go on the cups that allow you to travel the Commons area for outside beverages. And we, since May of this year through August, the end of August, 38,000 stickers. Not all of those have necessarily been taken out of businesses. Some businesses buys their stickers ahead so they can be ready for big nights, but that's comparable to about 27,000 from May through the end of October of last year. So it's definitely a popular thing for not only the pedestrian plaza season, but all year round when we can enjoy the Commons.
Yeah, I definitely heard the music from where I live in Midtown every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. It was nice. So
it was a good summer, and we will look forward to the pedestrian plazas coming back again in June of 2023.
Cool. Renee, what you got for us? Tell us what's coming up.
Well, to recap what has been over the summer, we had Tapped, that was in June, and then we also in July had mini golf on Main, sidewalk sales. We had a hoedown in downtown with a country night with a country band and line dancing. That was a lot of fun. You know, we had River Days down here in Main Street Glow that we do, as well as River Days after party. We welcomed Gus Knacker to downtown. And I'm sure I'm missing some, but we've also, we've had a really, really busy summer in June, July, August. We also had Downtown Story Day at the end of August. And then we just completed Taste of Downtown, which is an event that was last held, I think, in 2016, 2017. Oh, wow. So we brought it back this year, and it was a sold-out, very successful event. So nice. Yeah, it's been a great, great summer. So looking ahead, we have Boo Bash again. We're bringing it back for the second year. It's going to be on October 28th, starting at 6 p.m. Okay. Following kind of the same timeline as last year. 6 to 8 p.m. will be our family portion with trick-or-treating and, you know, games, activities, all that stuff for the family to enjoy. We're also going to be bringing in the fire dancers during that time as well. Cool. So they'll be doing entertainment as people are strolling around, so it'll be really great. And then from 9 until midnight will be the adults costume Halloween party that we are very much anticipating again. Yeah. So, and I think the community is really excited about it too.
What was your favorite costume from last year?
Oh gosh, my favorite costume from last year was definitely Cousin Eddie.
Oh wow!
From Christmas Vacation. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's my favorite movie. So to see somebody dressed up like that was great.
Awesome.
But yeah. So and then. I know that we're going to be having another podcast in November, but just to kind of preview November a little bit, hopefully we're bringing back brush monkeys again to decorate all the windows in downtown Midland. We're going to be doing our holiday open house weekend in November. We are doing our Cocoa Crawl again after the Santa Parade in Midland. And, you know, the Santa House, the Midland Area Community Foundation is also going to be doing their courthouse lighting in November as well, and Small Business Saturday. So lots of fun stuff in November. Very busy November.
Yeah. And you can find all this information on downtownmidland.com and all of our social media as well, right?
Yes.
We're
Facebook
up to date.
is definitely the best place to go if you have it, but yes, website and Facebook would be great.
Facebook, cool. All right. Anything else that you want to add to the lowdown on downtown?
I don't think so. Right. I think that's just a quick little recap of what's going on and what to look forward to. So
cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Selina, for hosting
this. Thank you, Chris.
This.
Always a good time. Yeah. And we look forward to everyone visiting, not only for events, but shopping and dining in downtown Midland.
Yeah. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you all later. monthly piece of content to know all things about Downtown Midland. This podcast is presented by the MCTV Network, a service of the City of Midland. To learn more about Downtown Midland, be sure to follow and like Downtown Midland social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe to this podcast on your preferred platform, and to get more details, go to downtownmidland.com.